Hello YouTube. Today we're going to be painting tractor rims. This is off a John Deere 240 garden tractor, manual transmission, 14 horsepower engine. We're going to be scraping the rims down with a Dremel tool, taking all the rust off on the inside, then priming and painting. The tools I have today are a Dremel toolkit, a cheapo Dremel, some painter's tape, some spray air, primer from Rust-Oleum, John Deere yellow from Rust-Oleum, and John Deere yellow farm and implement from Krylon. I have not tried Krylon farm and implement yellow yet, but I don't really like the Rust-Oleum one. I painted my deck that, and it doesn't seem to be a perfect match. It's a little bit of a difference. It's fine enough for me, but for the rims, I think I'm going to use the Krylon probably, just because I think it's better. And as you can see, I've already started one rim the other day I worked on. That's just with sanding and priming. So let's get started. Well, the first step is use the Dremel with a sanding bit, and I just replaced this the other day, so it's pretty fresh. And we're just gonna go along the whole outside of the rim, or the inside of the rim, and take off the paint along with the rust, and then just touch up any spots that we think will need work. Every so often you'll want to blow it off, otherwise it's going to get too dusty to even see what you're doing. I'm just using a computer duster since I don't have any other means of dusting, like air compressor yet. As you can see, just from about 3-4 minutes of work, I've used the Dremel just to do a quick job along the whole entire, well, about half the rim. And that's where most of the rust was, and there's still a little on the outside, like over here. And we're not going to worry about any of the rust like up in here, like behind the dust cap. So we still have a lot of the rust up here, and most of that paint to take off along just the inner part of the rim. And we'll do that in just a second. Also, as a quick tip, you might want to wear a dust mask because it gets quite dusty, and as you can see on my Dremel, this is a lot of dust, and this is just from today, pretty much. And, you know, I've only been working for about 3-4 minutes. So, unless it's a windy day, you should probably be wearing a dust mask. Like we're out of air, so we'll have to substitute another means, probably a rag. before you paint, you'll want to use a rag anyway because the air doesn't get everything off. So we're gonna have to get all this rust, since I don't feel like trying to lay on the ground and look up. We're going to have to roll the tractor forward a little, but you can see that we did a pretty good job, and it might need a little smoothing out, but the primer also takes care of a little of that. So the next step is to move the tractor forward a little bit. And that looks pretty good. There's just a little we can't see. Hopefully we'll be able to get this done before it rains, because weatherman says it's not supposed to rain today, but I think it might. But it has cleared up a little. Next up is some more sanding again. Well, I think we did a pretty good job. I'll have to dust it off and see. But try to go around as well as you can around the valve stem. I had a little bit of trouble because it was just such a tight fit, but it should be fine. It's not like somebody's gonna like be, you know, staring at your rims like really a lot. And if you see some sparks, I don't know if you could see them on the camera, but whenever I hit a little patch of rust, they would spark. And don't worry about that, because that's just gonna happen if you're using a high-speed sander. So I'll clean it up and then you guys can see. Well, I got a rag out of the shed, and you can actually see how shiny that is now, and you can see all the dust coming off. And you just want to clean the whole rim inside and out, just because there's so much dust. Otherwise the paint won't stick very well, or primer, and we don't want that, because then even though the paint and primer is only a few dollars, especially when it's not John Deere official, it's just still a waste of money and a waste of time. We did a pretty good job, and there's a few spots that need some touch up, like over here and right here. You know, along the edges we didn't really get that good, so we could do that. And then over here we never got to. We just didn't connect our bead of sanding along. So for some reason, I don't know if this is on all John Deere ribs, but this is where mine tend to rust, is right along the inner edge. So we'll get the rest of the rust taken care of. We mask, prime, and paint. What I'm gonna do is just start covering over stuff like the dust caps, and it's not liking to stick to the dust caps, so sometimes you gotta just get a bunch of it and start going around and wadding it up over it. Okay, for the primer it says use between temperatures of 50 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and remove all your loose paint and everything. And it says to shake your can for a minute. For your dry and recoat times, it says based on 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 50% relative humidity, allow more time at cooler temperatures. Dries in 15 to 30 minutes. When dry, surface can be immediately recoated, top coated, or wet sanded. Wait 4 hours before dry sanding. So I'm just going to paint it and see what happens. Well, I have both front rims primed twice. This one's drying, as you can see. It's still wet, and they'll be flat when they're done. Well, I figured while my primer was drying, I'd try something out, and I have both the Krylon Farm and Implement John Deere Yellow, and also I have the Rust-Oleum Farm Equipment John Deere Yellow, and I wanted to see which one would work out better, look better anyway. So I took both and I sprayed them on a piece of plywood, and the one on the right is the Rust-Oleum and the one on the left is the Krylon. And I'm going to use the Krylon on my rims anyway, but I like it much better than the Rust-Oleum because, as you can see, the coverage I'm not worried about because it's just plywood and it, takes paint weird when you're spraying it, as you can see. But I like the Krylon much better than the Rust-Oleum because with the Rust-Oleum, it appears to be a brighter yellow than the Krylon. The Krylon appears to be a darker yellow, much like the actual yellow on the John Deere rims. Okay, so I'm ready to paint. It's been over 19 minutes actually since I painted this one, and even longer since I painted the other one. So this one for the Krylon Farm and Implement John Deere Yellow says basically shake for 2 minutes and spray. Well, they're pretty much dry, and I think they came out really well. There's no paint on the valve stem whatsoever, and I think I got a really good job on this one. It's very shiny, more shiny than I thought, especially compared to the deck, which has no shine pretty much. And that was with the Rust-Oleum. And I did the wheels with the Krylon. So, compared to the rear wheels, which are factory painted, I think the front are really good compared to them. They look pretty much natural. And this side is not as good, but it's still pretty good. I got a little mistake up there, didn't stick to some of the rust, but that's not what I was trying to paint really in the first place. There's a few flaws over here. Like, I touched that accidentally when I was trying to remove the blue. I didn't get that all off yet, so. But otherwise, I think compared to the rear, they both look good. So, probably one of my next jobs is painting the entire tractor, and as usual, just keeping it washed and keeping the hood waxed, and keeping the dash panel armor-alled, and looks nice. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Don't forget to comment, rate, like, or subscribe.